just like some amount of brown water running, it is generally advised that coach should not start flowing along with the brown water, thinking that they are dancing on the tunes of client. So we need to differentiate between what is brown water and what is where the being of the client is. Now, that fear, you could see Padmini that she is not obsessed by a fear. She is not she is not requiring a psychiatric treatment of that kind of desperation or intensity. She was actually brave enough to face it and word it and throw it, saying that I may die. So the very fact that she was throwing it off, it was worth letting it to be thrown away from her, and she to see herself as separate.
Hi, everyone. Today's quite a special webinar. It's live coaching, and our MCC coach that's going to allow or invite you into this masterful experience is Mugdha Shah. You have already, or many of you have already met Mugdha when she did a webinar on a project she's leading. Kasturi, right? Yeah, absolutely. So you met her and you spoke about her. It's all about empowering women. Today, Mugdha Shah is going to demonstrate or do some live coaching. And our wonderful client here is Padmini, who's also a PCC coach. And I'm not going to say anything more to introduce them. I would love for us to go straight into the coaching so that we have enough time towards the end to discuss and brainstorm and talk about competencies and whatever you noticed. To make this a meaningful coaching experience for many of the coaches on the call, you may want to have your updated core competencies out or your other one, doesn't matter. But have your competencies next to you. And as we go through the session, type onto the chat box what you are noticing. You can use marker language, or you can just use your own language. What are you noticing? That would be really lovely as we go through the live demonstration. And feel free to type any of your questions you want into the chat box. And please, please use panelists and everyone so that everyone can see your message. Mugdha, you want to say hello to everyone before you start?
Hello.
Okay. Padmini?
Hi, everyone.
Okay. I'm going to go off video so that you can just see client and coach. That'll only be on your screen. Mugdha, I hand over to you. And from the bottom of my heart, thanks to you and Padmini.
Most welcome. So, hi Padmini.
Hi, Mugdha.
So happy to see you.
Likewise.
So what you would like to discuss today?
So Mugdha, ever since the lockdown started, I took to it very enthusiastically because suddenly it seemed like an opportunity to spend more time at home with family and reconnect with various hobbies that I had. I was very enthusiastic about it in the beginning. But as time went by, and especially the last few months, I think it started to get to me. I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed. And there's a sense that there's always a cloud over my head. So I thought I would bring it up in the session today to just figure out, what's going on and why am I suddenly feeling this way.
Yeah. So how would you like to explore that?
So I think one of the reasons why I'm feeling like this is because, there's no work-life balance left anymore. My workday typically would start at 9 in the morning in the past, and I knew that it ended at about 7:38 at some point, and I would come back home. But now it starts at 9, and there are no boundaries. Calls happen late at night as well. Unfortunately, I've also not laid down the boundaries because everything's just completely, blurred. The lines are blurred. So I think, the sense is that, there is no end to this workday. It just keeps going on and on and on. And the other thing that I did when the lockdown started was I thought suddenly I had so much time on my hands because travel time had been taken out of the whole equation. There were no weekends, there were no stepping out for parties or anything. So I went and signed up for all possible courses that I could think of. And now all of a sudden, even that feels overwhelming. So there's work, then all the assignments that I need to complete, and all the various readings that I need to do. And suddenly I'm feeling so burnt out at this point.
I can see that in your voice change as well as in your expressions. And you seem to have sorted it out already. You know what is happening and what all is happening and why you are feeling overwhelmed. So exactly what part you want to discover further in this session?
So you're very right, So I can see the reasons as to why I'm feeling like this. But somehow there is this need in me. There's this phrase which everyone seems to be using these days, fear of missing out. That even now, in spite of all the things that I've piled onto myself, even now, if suddenly I get an email from someone, hey, there is this very important webinar on so and so topic, I still go and sign up. In spite of feeling the way I'm feeling right now with all these things, I still go ahead and I, sign on. There are many things that I can even say no to, but I'm finding it very difficult to, say no to those things. So I don't understand why I am continuing to put myself through all of this.
So is that the thing you want to explore today?
I think I'd like to understand, that what is this need within me to do so many things in this time? It's almost like there is this feeling in my head or a belief in my head that this time is finite and I need to pack it in with as much as I can. So I just thought if I could understand where this was coming from and if I could do something about it, that would really help.
Yeah, sure. I would like to compliment the way you found the deeper meanings and the deeper roots around that. So let's stay with it. So while you are thinking about it, what's coming to your mind?
I keep thinking about why I keep filling up my day so much. And sometimes I think that, I'm so scared to face reality, that I don't want to keep any free moment in my day so that I have time to think about it. The second wave was quite devastating for all of us here. And it was so scary. That time was so scary. And even now, media is full of reports of a third wave, that an impending third wave. So sometimes I feel that, I fill up my day so that I don't have to think about these things, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm piling my life up so much with one thing after the other, which is also exhausting me. I'm not being able to do justice to anything right now. Yeah, that's what's coming up for me.
What's the fear?
There's so many unknowns on this one, no clear answers on the pandemic, when it's going to be over, what is allowed now, can we step out, do we need to stay in, are we safe now with vaccinations in place, or is there's just so many unknowns, so much of uncertainty. And I think my biggest fear, more than the uncertainty, is my son who's 12. So there's no vaccination for kids as of now in the market, and there's always this fear that if I step out right now, what if I bring back something with me, and he gets it and he's not protected. And it's almost like I don't want to think about any of these things. I just don't. And that's why I'm just piling on my day, piling up stuff in my day and I'm just keeping myself busy.
So as you see yourself doing this, what you would like to tell yourself?
I think I'd just like to, at this point, say that it's okay to be afraid. And it's okay to also maybe stop at some time, just stop and not have anything to do and just sit and think. Even the negative thoughts, even the bad thoughts, if they're there, they're there. I need to not fight them. Because right now the feeling is that I'm fighting them. I just don't want to think them.
And as you say this to yourself, how are you feeling about it now?
I'm feeling a little sad because it just makes me see, how things have changed in our lives over the last 1.5, 2 years. So it just reminds me of that. I'm also feeling a little relieved that it's out of my system and that I'm able to talk about it with someone and just say it out loud. So yeah, so there's a bit of relief and sadness, I think both mixed.
And what's happening to the fear part of it?
But the fear is still there. The fear is still there. I just need to accept it, that it's there. Things like being careful, the fear that I have about my son's health, I know we just need to continue being careful. We need to take all the precautions, whatever that can be done. But the other negative thoughts, which are also, which scare me, I think I just have to face them at some point.
Yeah, at this point, you are facing them really well. So at this point, what you would like to commit to yourself?
Just some alone time, some time during the day where I'm not doing anything. And as I'm saying this, I realize that the day is now so packed. that there is no such time. Also, we're all home. So there is, it's difficult to get that space also, because everyone's home. So I just have to find myself a quiet corner and some alone time where I'm not doing anything. I mean, that feels like a luxury at this point.
For that to become feasible, would you like to take anybody's support system along?
I think my family. I think I need to discuss this with my husband and my son, who can see how it's affecting me. And I know they've raised this with me in the past as well. I think I'll need their support on this.
You're sounding a little confident of getting that too.
Yes, that I think they would understand. They've seen me go through the highs and the lows, and I think they'll understand my need for this little space and this little time that I can have to myself during the day.
You did mention something about getting overwhelmed or feeling cluttered. How are you feeling about that right now?
I think I'll just have to offload some of it, Mugdha. It's just not physically possible for me to continue with all these things. So there are a number of things that I've taken on that I don't have the bandwidth for. So I will have to actually sit down with everything on my plate and prioritize and let go of things that I don't need at this point, and which are not so important. So I need to do that. And I need to learn how to say no to some things.
While you're saying that you need to, you're sounding so clear, as if you know how to do it.
Yeah, it's just that I've never done it, so I may know that this is piling up for me. I know that this is too much for me, but I've just never sat down and really done this. I need to do this.
And to do that, anything you would need to do except doing that itself? Anything else you need to do?
I think for now, just making a list of all the things which are on my plate, checking my calendar, because the calendar looks like it's got colors of all types on it, because each one is a different activity. So I have to just sit with that calendar with the pen and paper and actually start putting down things that I can offload, things that I can maybe reschedule for later. So some amount of jugglery needs to happen out there. So yeah, I just need to sit down with the purpose of clearing up my calendar and prioritizing all the activities.
And get some space for your me time.
And get some space in, absolutely, yes.
So we started this conversation with some specific objective in mind. How are you finding the conversation?
It's good, Mugdha, because like I said, I was feeling like there was a cloud always hanging over my head. But now that I'm talking about it, and I'm slowly beginning to realize where the issue lies. And when it's been broken up into these smaller parts, it doesn't feel so overwhelming now. Now it feels like, certain things, if I tweak, if I change in my life, I can, reduce the load that I've been feeling. So that now it just suddenly seems more doable, and it doesn't seem like this huge thing hanging over my head. So which is very good. That's been most helpful for me.
You deserve much more acknowledgement on that, because you went down to the root cause of fear, went to the level of acceptance. So it's quite a deeper work, not just breaking it down in smaller steps. So how would you like to acknowledge Padmini?
Thanks, Mugdha. I think I'm just glad that I found the courage to show up today and just, talk about this, because this I've been feeling like this for some time now, and for some reason I just kind of always, shoved it under the carpet and never really got around to dealing with it. So I'm just glad that we had this conversation.
Yeah. Anything about Padmini you would like to tell Padmini?
I think I just want to give myself hope that this time is not finite, because that's where I've been reacting. That's the space that I've been coming from, as if I just have this much time left and I have to finish everything in this time. So I just want to give hope, give myself hope, or give this Padmini hope that, it's not finite, and I don't need to rush through life like this. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to let things happen at their own pace.
May I join you in acknowledging?
Yes, please.
This Padmini is quite a PCC coach. The way she worked on herself is quite remarkable. And I must admit that what you brought out is a very core question to many of us. And while being with you in this conversation, it gave me also many new insights, and also the others. So glad that you did this. So it is not only for you, it is for many. It will really help. So I acknowledge you for this.
Thank you. Thank you. This was very useful. Thank you so much.
Padmini, before we move further in this conversation, any other areas of your life where you see this insight of time being not finite, the advantages of slowing down or me time, do you see its application at other aspects of your life also?
I think in my interactions with my son, because somewhere I have also put it into my head that I only have finite time with my child. I think I have just somewhere, I believe that in the third wave I'm definitely going to die. So it's a very morbid thought. And so I have been smothering him, literally, that you have to sit with me, you have to talk to me. Now this 12-year-old does not want to spend time beyond what he has to with his mother. So now when I think back, I mean, it's funny, and I can see his expressions, and now I realize that I must be, he must be feeling completely smothered. So I think there as well, I can use the same philosophy that time is not finite. I have some more time with him, and I should let him be. So yeah, thank you for that question, because this is another area that I need to work on.
So how would you like to take our conversation now?
I think a number of action points have emerged for me, Mugdha, and I'd like to just work on these to begin with. From organizing my calendar to, letting go of things that I'm not able to manage at this point, and also, changing the belief that I shouldn't let these thoughts enter my head, or the belief that time is finite. I think a number of things have emerged for me that I can work on to begin with. So I'd like to concentrate on those before I do anything else.
So I have heard you many times saying time is not finite. So do you mean to say time is infinite?
I was only thinking of a few months that, the next wave is going to hit us now, if you believe the papers and media. So I was only thinking of 6 months. So now if from 6 months, I'm getting another 5-6 years, I'm very happy. So that's good enough.
So affirmatively speaking, what are you trying to say to yourself?
I think I'm just telling myself that, things aren't normal the way they used to be. We are going through tough times, but, and these thoughts are bound to come into our heads at some point or the other, because we've seen so much around us. But that doesn't mean that, we stop living, we stop believing, we stop hoping. I think for now, I think that's all that I'm telling myself, that, keep the faith. This too shall pass. It'll take its time, but this too shall pass. That's all that I'm telling myself at this point.
As you tell this to yourself, how are you feeling now?
Much lighter. I think you can make out that, that I'm feeling much lighter and much better. So thank you so much.
Most welcome. And thank you for sharing. So Padmini, we are done when you say done.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, Padmini.
Thank you so much, Mugdha.
Padmini, that was a lovely energy that showed up in you towards the end.
I suddenly started feeling better, Cindy. Somehow when the problem got broken up into smaller parts, and which seemed more manageable, somehow it felt much. I suddenly started feeling better and lighter.
Yeah. I have a curious question. Where are you feeling the lightness?
I think just all over, Cindy. Just all over.
Mugdha, that was a beautiful session. Thank you. To all the coaches listening in, today was not about the demonstration of an agreement or anything. It was about staying connected to a client. How do we stay connected to the client, the who of the client? So the demonstration or whatever Mugdha did was specific to the who of the client. And I see from some of your messages, lots of comments on the simplicity of the questions, the connection. Those of you that picked up, it was all about the connection was spot on. That's what the session is mostly about. Thank you, Mugdha. That was wonderful coaching. How do you feel?
Feeling nice. It's the first time we are interacting. We saw each other just a minute or two back, and Padmini is a great client. She was dancing so beautifully that joining her dance was my pleasure. So.
But if let's you and I interact a bit. I mean, the three of us. Mugdha, there was many times that your question was more the way it landed with the client was reflective and went deeper, went beyond what client was saying. Yeah? Did you get a sense of that? Yeah?
Yes, I did, but Padmini can say better because
Absolutely, Mugdha. The questions, and in fact, they made me stop and think. So I am sure you must have noticed that I just went silent because I had to really think, before answering some of the questions. And I thought, when you asked me what is the fear, and that made me really go inside, because I just thought it was just a simple fear of the pandemic, but I realized that it wasn't. It was much deeper. So thank you for all those powerful questions.
But the thing I want to say to Mugdha, to you, is that, coaches, there has to be a point when you reach to have that level of comfort, right? Coaches would ask normally much longer questions, a lot of words in it, in the front, in the back, and some explanations to it. You asked it very simply and short. My sense is that there's a lot that went on, a lot of growth, development, learning, whatever, to reach this point. So what was it for you that shows up so simply?
Yeah, thanks for asking this question, because I would love to answer this. See, I personally have grown to love everyone unconditionally. And with greater and greater practice, you can do it much faster, much more naturally, much more genuinely, more childlike. So actually, many things were unlearned during MCC sessions, in terms of my own judgments, in terms of my own performance anxiety, in terms of thinking about the environment, recording happening, people watching. Everything actually vanishes, and there was only and only Padmini there, not even Mugdha there. And my stance with my client is so much in love and appreciation that actually, frankly speaking, it it was obvious. The questions which I was asking, I could see that she's already having a deeper layer behind her chirpy flow of words. She sounded like brown water running, but it was actually not the reality. The tonality of her voice, the expression were far more deeper, far more sensitive. So frankly, a little bluntly, you can't fool me with that. I know you know the answer. So actually, when you really observe a person with a sense of unconditional appreciation, you can see the master hidden in the client. You can see the coach hidden in the client. And just like a sculptor, it says, no, every stone shows what sculpture it is waiting to be carved out into. Just remove some unnecessary parts and the sculpture will discover itself from the stone. So just help the client let go of some brown water here or there, and the sculpture is right there. So when you really in an awe of the client, and just really like a fan of client, like a die-hard fan, if you can really observe, the mastery is revealing itself. And the kind of the way you ask the question is if a disciple asking question to the God. And then disciple doesn't have to ask long question, because God will get it right. So because you see that the client will understand what you meant, then you don't try to explain as if I know more, I have to explain myself, otherwise she may get me wrong. No, she's the God, right? So frankly speaking, only Padmini is around, and I'm just trying to be as invisible as possible, be as intimate as possible, and with really unconditional faith in the client's ability to coach herself. Then.
Oh, it was beautifully said. Because there was a when a client shares, and you can see in the rhythm of the words that it's already their current reality. They've thought about it, so the listening is not for what's there, the listening is far beyond, right? Even I feel like I'm reflecting and talking, but you could hear it in Padmini. There were some things, the flow of her words was so easy. And then there was silence to go beyond those words. Right, Padmini?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Because it's easy to engage. Sorry, Mugdha, you go. It's kind of easy to engage with all the words, right? But it isn't necessary.
Two things I would like to share. Yeah, two things I would like to share. And it is not only in this conversation, but generally in almost all conversations, that the very fact that the client is ready to face the question and has come for the coaching session, practically that means 99% over. Now, in my own simple language, I say, bas credit lena baki hai. Only what's left is for the coach to take the credit. The person is already in the space to explore it. If you can just accompany, that actually the person will move. The person actually is the tour guide. Client is the guide. We can just accompany the client and not allow them to feel left out or wandering. If you can just be with them, it helps. And if you ask about words, with all due respect, there is a lot of things said about rephrasing the client. But what I have found is even that needs to be done at a minimal level, because we don't want to make client conscious about anything, not conscious about coach's presence, not conscious about their own words, not conscious too much about their own body feeling too many times. So what I actually try to catch is not the words, but the being between the words. It's like trying to catch the thread between in the garland, not the flowers, not the beads. If I can catch the thread, I catch her. So hence I was so tempted to tell her, Padmini, acknowledge yourself. Padmini, catch yourself. And all I could do, see what you would like to say to Padmini. So what you would say, because I was catching her, and I was seeing that she is not catching her. So how to help her catch herself? Thereon also, rather than be preachy about that, see, I found out this about you, I need to wait. It's about her. So she acknowledges herself first, she gets herself first. And if you can still like me, can't keep it to yourself and have to appreciate the client, then you can keep it to the last. So actually, more than the words, get the being between those words, those sighs, those change of body stances. See the kind of beautiful human being this lady is. Her concerns, her caringness, her sense of duty, her sense of self-reflections, quite thoughtful, quite a writer herself. So if you can see that, Padmini, then you will try to connect with her at that level. It helps.
Yeah, beautifully said around the thread, that analogy that you used. It's like, a good reminder that even when we breathe in and out, there's a moment of silence in between, a stillness in between. Yeah? Try it, you'll see, to everyone. So coaches, I'm not ignoring you. Of course, I want your questions and whatever comments you want to make. Anuraj, I've given you permission to talk, so please, you can go ahead with your question.
So thanks, Cindy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My question.
Yes, we can.
So first
Yeah.
of all, I think it was a very wonderful session by both Mugdha and Padmini. And but I thought, because I was thinking aloud that sometimes the client takes more time to figure out their own thoughts. While in this case, Padmini was pretty clear about, what she's thinking and uh, how she sort of looks at her own fear. If the client is unable to arrive at her thought with a time-bound session, how do you sort of question the client in order to get an impact or outcome in the same session?
Mugdha, I'll leave it to you.
Okay. So first of all, that's a very valid thing. Padmini was exceptionally well in doing it. So generally, in real life, it most of the time it's not just one standalone conversation. So if the process starts, then the action plan in that conversation is to go deeper into it itself. So in that conversation, they choose to start thinking on a particular direction, start taking notes on what is happening, how they are feeling, and come back to the next session with those thoughts. At times, they can even share it as a pre-read or start sharing it from next. So as you rightly said, that client may take more time, and then they should take more time. So there is no need to hurry. If WIP is achieved in a particular conversation, that also is an action plan there. That also is the impact, and that's worth it. Worth taking it the way it evolves is my take on it.
Thank
Simple.
you.
Aska, I've opened your mic and I've also opened Deva's mic. So go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Mugdha as well. Since you have the experience of working in the psychosocial empowerment issues, I'm not the psychologist and neither, in social science, I'm an engineer. But looking from a coach perspective, for the executive or leadership coaching, for example, how do you see the benefits or effectiveness of these, psychosocial empowerment and coaching connections and relations in the coaching? And if you want to use your experiences in the psychosocial empowerment experiences in your coaching, for example, what would you do? And what could be, an example or advice for someone like me?
See, I'm quite a simple person, and I enjoy answering it simply. I think most of the barriers in leadership or empowerment are self-limiting beliefs. So if you can really have unconditional faith in the person's unlimited leadership potential, if the coach oneself is not inhibiting oneself with any kind of limiting beliefs about the client, and hold that space of unconditional faith in that person's unlimited leadership potential, that's it. So don't get affected by any limiting belief about yourself or the client, and help the other person do the same to oneself and to one's reality. That's it. Whether you call it empowerment,
Thank you. And
remains the same.
Yeah, thank you. And if I may, Cindy, can I ask that, is there any relation between this one and perspective on the person as well?
No, I have not got the question. What do you mean?
Actually, is there any relationship between this, what as you said, with the perspective of a coach and the client on the faith, or I don't want to go to the spiritual, but let's say on the empowerment and psycho empowerment relationships?
Yes, basically, a person like me would say that the only reality is oneness. So oneness is the reality. So entire universe is in oneness. So all the disconnectedness or all the limiting beliefs are just beliefs. The reality is oneness. And in oneness, there is no limit on anybody to get connected or to access anything. So if you stay anchored in oneness, then intimacy with the client, well, that's the reality. Unlimited potential, well, that's the reality. So be there in oneness, stay in your heart, and you will see intimacy with anything and anyone.
Okay,
Also,
thank you so
Aska,
much. Competency too, Cindy. Thank you.
Aska, if the client doesn't want to go there, you would see it in them. You would see the reaction. It will be an away reaction, or they will say something. So if the client is not, the coach is not attached to whatever goes on in the coaching, right? And if you notice it in the client, then, you can pull back also. The client will let you know.
Yeah,
Deva,
I
your
agree.
mic,
Yeah.
thank Aska. Your mic is open.
Thank you, bye-bye.
You can ask your question.
Khyati here. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Hi. So yeah, thanks a lot for today's session, and thanks to Mugdha, Cindy, and particularly Padmini. I think you were really authentic, and you spoke about an issue which too many people are facing right now. So this was really good for me. I wanted to ask Mugdha that at one point Padmini mentioned that she almost believes she's going to die in the third wave. I mean, that kind of I was taken aback as a listener. But that's not something you went deeper into. So I just want to understand, what was your perspective on that?
First of all, very good question. I wanted to pick it up even from the chat box. Good, you brought it up.
Thanks.
It was deliberate not to pick that up. So just like some amount of brown water running, it is generally advised that coach should not start flowing along with the brown water, thinking that they are dancing on the tunes of client. So we need to differentiate between what is brown water and what is where the being of the client is. Now that fear, you could see Padmini that she is not obsessed by a fear. She's not she's not requiring a psychiatric treatment of that kind of desperation or intensity. She was actually brave enough to face it and word it and throw it, saying that I may die. So the very fact that she was throwing it off, it was worth letting it to be thrown away from her, and she to see herself as separate from her own fear. At that point in time, yeah. So at that point in time, if I bring it back to her, it is like again attaching the fear closer to her. No, she's getting freed from the fear. No, let her be free and see the fear in the eye. To see the fear in the eye, it needs to be in front of her and not attached to her. So she was doing dare step. I need to help her going towards that rather than bring her one step back. So I also got a step back, but I made it a point that it will not appear even on my face. She herself will forget that she's what she said. And I just went on, saying that, okay, so now where you are, having said that, what you would like to say yourself. So having faced it. So as I was saying, don't catch the beats, catch the thread. Many a times, clients, especially sensitive and articulate clients like Padmini, will give us such wonderful words that we feel like catching them. We feel like looking on that. So let's not fall for the diamonds or the pearls she may throw at us. We need to always focus on the thread where her being wants to be, and not what the fear is working around her. Her fear is different than her being, and our duty is to help her get in touch with her being, separate from her blah, blah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for this insight. Really lovely.
Wonderful. That's really beautifully said, Mugdha. Padmini, how are you feeling? You're quiet. You're quiet.
This question from Khyati, I was thinking back to it, Cindy. I don't even know where it came from, but then I realized, all the while that I was saying that time is finite. This is what I meant, that it's not like the world was going to end. Obviously, somewhere at the back of my mind, the fear was that what if we don't survive this? So absolutely. So I may have used the word, what if I die in the third wave? But all the while when I was saying finite, this is what I was referring to, and I completely agree with Mugdha that, I don't even know if I meant it, but yes, this was a fear at some point of time for sure, for a long time. So
the way you overcame it towards the end, when I was requesting you for an affirmative way of saying it, you said, "This too shall pass." So
Yeah.
this solution was far more important than re-articulating the fear, which was the part of the problem. So you moved on from the problem statement to solution statement, and that is where we wanted to spend more time so that it gets stabilized and you settle with it, with that as a stance. Yeah.
Coaches, as we round up on this call, please type into the chat box anything you want to say or you're taking away. I'm sure both Mugdha and Padmini would love to hear your comments. What are you walking away with, either for yourself or something you want to say to them? Okay, Vishy, what is your question? You want to type it or you want to ask it? I can't see Vishy. There, I can see you now. Okay. There we go. I've given you permission to talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, the question that I want to ask Mugdha is saying that do the fear go away for once for all?
So see, we did ask that question. So what about the fear? And she said the fear is still there.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is, unless you really face it, come to terms with it and let it blossom and wither away, some seeds and some parts will be there and it will always come back to you, right? So you need to explore that. Explore that.
Yes, very much. So that very aspect, as she spoke about it now, when Padmini spoke, that yes, this was one of the key fear statements she had in her mind. So now she will be able to face it better. So first, getting some thread of this too shall pass was happy. It is. I personally feel it's like a left leg and then right leg and then left leg and then right leg.
Yeah.
So some part of problem identification and then getting some hints of solution, then deeper facing it and then other solution. So the process is on.
Yeah.
So
got it. You answered it.
Coaches, it was wonderful being with you. And I want to really thank you, Mugdha. Thank you, Padmini. For gracing us with wisdom, your presence, and of course, the learning space. Thank you. I mean, I can't say it better than thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Mugdha, yeah.
Thank you, Padmini. We better keep in touch. We are friends now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mugdha, for the lovely session. Thank you.
My pleasure, and it's an honor to be in such presence of such observant learners. So you helped me learn some things about this process and myself too. So I consider each one of you as my coach too. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. See you next month. Bye.